Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Joppy Noodle Legs here today. Going to be doing a little bit of a rehousing refresh on my Brachypelma hamorii. Now, you may remember I brought her from the Northern Invert show in Barnsley at the beginning of March. Well, I've had her now, what, 6 weeks? She's molted out, but the problem I've got with her enclosure is she's there. And she's been sitting up here pretty much for 6 weeks. The only time she's been down there was for the days that she molted, and it was in that little corner there. As you can see, that little corner there, the substrate is really nice and flat. But the rest of it, I don't think it's right for her. I just don't think she's happy with the environment. That's why she's up there all the time. Now that concerns me in the sense of, like, is she going to find her food? Is she going to find her water? If she's up here all the time, she's not using her environment properly. So I thought, well, I spoke to a few people and to get some sort of advice from them of what they would do. First of all, they thought, is she too far away from the heat source? So I moved her on my racking. Now she was there where my curly hair is, but I moved her to there now because my heater's just down there. And I've left her there now for just over a day, and she's still up there. So it's definitely not that she's cold or anything like that. So it must simply be that she is sorry guys, I've just seen one of my little slings out and about. It might just be that she's not happy with the environment. Now, if you remember right, my albiceps was in this one. My male albiceps went off to be paired. Now, the albiceps, when I had it, stayed on top all the time. It didn't burrow, it just stayed on top and it wandered around. You remember, you saw the videos. So when he went off, it's probably a mistake on my behalf. I thought, well, he's never burrowed, so I'm not going to remove all the substrate because that's going to be costly. So you can perfectly see where I've changed the substrate. So that was obviously the newer substrate when she came, and that was the older substrate when the albiceps was in. Because what I did, I took like that amount off of the substrate just in case there was any webbing or whatever. I took all that out and I put new substrate in. So I'm thinking that could possibly be what the problem is that there is older substrate in there. So I think it's really the best thing to do is to catch her out and completely change the substrate and everything for her. Now, it won't do her any harm even if I do this, because obviously spiders, if I was selling her, I'd be boxing up, she'd be going to a new home. So it's not going to make any problems for her. As she's molted out, it's not going to have any issues with her at all. But I just want her to sort of like not be stuck up here all the time, if you know what I mean, because I just worry that she's not eating or anything. I've put food in there, but I end up taking the food out because she doesn't eat it. So I'm going to need to just change her environment for her. So what we need to do first is to try and catch her out, which is going to be a bit of an issue because she's right at the top here. I just need to try and encourage her to sort of go down if I can. So I'm just going to put my little paintbrush in there. There we go, she's sort of moving. There we go, babe, I need you to go down, not up. So again, try and encourage her to go down. There we go. Then the first thing I'm going to do, guys, is remove that plant, because that's given her less things just to go back behind and sort of hide behind. Now, I don't mind her being up on there. I do have a catch cup ready. I could try see if I can get her to just go this way slightly. Come on, baby girl. There we go. So I've now got her safely into the catch cup. So what I'm going to do, guys, is try and get the lid to go underneath. Without her escaping. There we go. She's in the catch cup. There we go, princess. So we've caught her out very safely. Going to put her aside for a minute. So let me show you what I mean about the substrates. Okay. Now here is my new substrate I've made up, and it is fairly dry. It's not dried out completely yet because I only made this a couple of days ago. So there is a slight dampness in there. So I wouldn't be surprised if she doesn't do the same sort of thing for a few days. But it does this. When you push it down, it forms a lovely flat surface, you know. So if she's walking on it, it's flat. Now, on this substrate, if she's walking on it, look, her feet sink. So this is the thing that I was telling you about. Her feet sink into this. So if this is her foot, see that she tried this webbing is from her plant because she webbed it up, and I moved it out. But if you look, her feet will sink into that. Now if you go back to this one, the feet don't sink, you see. So I'm thinking that's what the issue could be. And also, like I said, because another spider has been in there, she'd never used the hide. Maybe that also could have been the issue, that she is can maybe even pick up that there's, you know, some other spiders been in there. So what I'm going to do, guys, don't want to sort of like waste a whole video of you seeing me empty out this old dirt. Obviously I'm going to be trying maybe changing the design up slightly, not too much, but I'm going to be using the same things that I've used in this one. So I'm going to take this stuff out, and the water bowl. I can go in there, can't it? Because I'm going to be taking that all out, and I'll take this out. Lovely bit of cork bark. I might use that again, or I might use a completely different piece. Because I'm thinking if she feels like what on the plant, she's got some of her webbing, so I'm going to keep that as it is, so she will sense that's hers. But I might put new cork bark in and everything, so it's sort of like new to her. Let me have a little think of it, because I do have a nice piece of cork bark, this one here, which again I can create some sort of hide for her. So I might use a brand new bit of cork bark, just making sure there's nothing else in there. There we go, another bit of cork bark. Yeah, so I think the best thing to do would be to just change all this substrate out and put fresh in. So just give me a minute while I go and take all this old substrate out. Right, so obviously now I've got all the soil out. I'm just going to give it a little wet down in there, guys. Just to give it like a little, I'm not going to make it a soaking, because it's only been her in it. So I'm going to just try and just sort of give this a little bit of a clean out. Now, I don't really like moving my spiders if I have to, but if I think that my spider's in discomfort in any form, or not got the environment that they want or enjoy, I think about it. I try options. Like I said, first of all, I try just moving her to a new part of the setup, so she's got somewhere warmer, just in case she's colder. Obviously, being from Mexico, these do prefer a dry sort of environment and warm. Now the substrate in the last one was dry. It was dry on the top, but the problem being it was too loose. It was no sort of consistency on there, so she could not sort of do anything with that. whatsoever. Just giving this a little dry, guys. Like I said, just getting out any sort of excess sort of making it a bit nice and clean, so I can. Sorry if it's just shaking the camera, but my tripod's on the table. I want it to feel like a new enclosure for her, but home from home. Hence why I'm leaving some of the webbing on her plant, because she will have her own. She'll think, oh, that's mine. Now, if I leave that in the same place, I don't know. I might put it at the. See, the thing is, if I put the plant at the back of the enclosure, I'm going to see even less of her, aren't I? So I might just still stick it where it was before. I'm not going over the top cleaning this out, guys, because it's just been her in there. I said my albiceps was in there, but I took the first layer of substrate out, and I did clean around, you know, the sides and everything. But you know, I spoke to a few friends, Andy from So Many Legs and Mark the Spider Guy and Steve Thornton, and they all come up with the same suggestions. First of all, which was maybe she's in a too colder area. So we said, okay, we'll give that a go. But she's still stuck up there, and we all sort of agreed that it will not do her any harm whatsoever if I did change her substrate for her. It could be pretty much life-changing for her. Who knows, eh? Let's hope it is. So what we're going to do next, guys, is do like put some substrate in there. Like I said, now I've made this brick about day before yesterday, so it is really dry. It's not completely dry yet, but what I've done, I've added a bit of cup and a half of play sand in there on top of the because that will help it dry out. And now she's located close to the heater. Sorry about that, that's next door's dog. Maybe if I just pull that window too while I'm making the video. I tend to open my window during the day, guys, just to give some air, sort of a change in the room. So what I was saying is this will dry out even more within a few days, but the thing is, what's going to be great about it is that I can push it down. Look, see, that's the difference, big difference, giving her a completely different surface to walk on. To you it's probably, oh, it's just the same substrate, but no, it's not. To her, that's going to be, well, that's a different surface, and that might encourage her to sort of like act differently, if you like, you know, and become a bit more, yeah. Obviously I'm going to use as much substrate as I can. I want to save a little bit because I want to use it in case I need to make a hide. There we go. That's quite nice. And also, as you saw, the top layer of that substrate that was in there, it's really dry, and only hers used it. So I've took a couple of scoops of that out and added it into this, because that will help this to dry out as well. Not only that, if it does have any sort of bits of her in it, again, it will hopefully help her out. So what we're going to do is, first of all, make her a little hide. Hopefully we can encourage her now to sort of use a hide, and we can do that, guys, by making one for her. And we'll make it just there for her. She might not use this, guys, for the first bit, like I said, because this is not totally 100% dried out, because it won't be. You must remember that it's never going to be 100% dried out when you get this stuff, because it takes time, and unless you make it like a fortnight or even up to 4 weeks before you actually use it in enclosure, it's not going to dry out completely for you. So what I'm going to do, guys, is make that quite high. Yeah, got this cork bark here that she had. I'm going to plant that in there just to give that a bit more stable to stand on. I think I'm still going to put the skull up there in the same place. Try and move this a bit closer, guys. So as you can see how much sort of flatter that is. Yeah, it is got a slight dampness to it, but like I said, that will change, guys. As time goes on, that will change. It will become a lot more drier because it's close to the heat source, and obviously now we're hitting the warm weather. This cocoa fibre stuff, this is Eco Earth mixed with a bit of play sand, a bit of vermiculite in there. Okay, that's what I've got in there today. I know because the Eco Earth, you can have issues with Eco Earth if you, which is a cocoa fibre based thing, if you're going to be making it for a sort of a moist dependent species, because too much water in these can create sort of mold and things. But as I'm going to be allowing this to dry out, it should not create any problems. But what I am doing is packing it down as much as I can, so she's got a flat surface to walk on. She looks great, by the way. She looks in lovely condition. So we're going to set this up a little bit the same as it was before. I'm going to move the water bowl this side this time, because I'm going to put her closer to the heat source. If I've got the water there, it's just going to evaporate all the time. So we can just pop that bit of bark there for her. Right, just add her plant with her web. Like I said, I'm leaving that on there, guys. Simple reason being, I want her to have something that she sort of knows is hers. So let's sort of see if we can pin that on the glass. These are not brilliant, sadly, for pinning on there. Right, so what I'm going to do is give that a nice little dry, and I'll make sure that this is nice and dry as well, and hopefully that will stick. I thought about leaving this out, because then I was thinking, oh, then it would encourage her to go to her hide. But I'm also thinking along the lines, she might like that. You know what I mean? She might just be a spider that likes that area. So the setup is not a lot different to her old one, but it's just got that little bit more, the substrate. I prefer the substrate in it. I think that looks nice. I think that looks really, really nice. I'm going to pop some water in that bowl. Obviously, one of my main concerns was she's not eating. You know what I mean? Because I'm thinking she obviously doesn't like the environment. She's sat up here all the time. I'm putting food in. I come back the next day, she's still up here, and the food's still running around. And I'm thinking, oh, she's not eating. So I'm trying to make it so she can actually use her whole environment. Should we stick a bit of a, what I tend to like to put in here, some leaf litter. I do like to put leaf litter in my enclosures. Again, I just think it gives it just a different sort of texture for the spider to walk upon. I'll just break up some leaf litter for her so she can walk upon that. Again, being wary that she might not like that. So I'll try and make a bit of a space where there isn't any. But I just think, you know, if you press that down on there a little bit, she's got some different sort of textures to walk on. What I'm also going to do, because I've seen our friend on the Dark Den do this, and let's just give a little sprinkling of sand on it as well. Again, different texture for the foot. Just a little one, just a little bit, just so, again, it's got a little bit of different texture. This is just general play sand, so it's totally safe for your spider. If you are going to use sand, get the play sand. Let's have a little look at the enclosure. So as you can see, it's not such a drastic change set up to what she already had. In fact, it's the same setup she had, but it's just a better substrate. This is just called a refresh, guys. So what I'm trying to do is refresh her so she's got a new environment to go into, which hopefully she will now utilize and use. So what we need to do now, guys, is just get the spider and we'll put her in there. She's sitting good as gold in the catch cup, bless her, in a hunched up position of you know, when they get a bit frightened, they put their legs over their carapace there. Because they know what's happening, they cover themselves up with their legs. It's just a protection thing. So what we're going to do, guys, obviously, you know what I'm like. I'm going to try and move her in there safe as I possibly can. Let me move a few things out of the way. Because she is quite quick. She's not afraid to bolt. You know, so what I'm going to do, obviously I don't want her bolting. Let me have a little think. If I can put this on the end here, like that, guys, and what I'll do, I'll try and turn this around and do the opposite side to what I normally do. Normally I would that way, but this time, because I can put the lid on this one like that, I'm going to try and see if I can get her out like that. So I'll try and bring you guys down and we'll try and see if we can get this little girl to come out. We'll try and do this as safe as possible. She's going to be a little bit skittish because she's not afraid to be skittish, this one. But we're going to do it as safe as possible, guys. So lid, loosen the lid. We'll try to keep it still in contact with the actual, it's always one corner. Always one corner with these. I always try and keep it in contact. Hopefully, try and encourage her just to put her legs off there. There we go. There we go. Let's move that out of the way. Oh, what we'll do, guys, we'll bring you over. Yes. She's in lovely condition. And we're going to just try, I'm going to move this slightly. I'm going to encourage her just to try and walk off as much as we can. Keep your paintbrush in contact. There we go. And there she goes. See, straight up there. Now you can see, guys, why I do that. Okay, that is why I do that. So let's try and encourage you just to not go up here. Come on, baby. Yeah. Try and encourage her to go down onto the ground where she's got a lovely environment now. Come on, baby. There we go. There she is. Isn't she beautiful? So there we go, guys. That's just a small sort of refresh and update on the spider. Now, don't be afraid to do things with your spider. If you think that their environment, they're not happy with it, like if they're stuck in one corner, she's been over that corner now for 6 weeks. Obviously, when she was molting out, I thought I'd leave her because I could see she was in pre-molt when we got her. She's making her area to molt out, and she molted out 2.5 weeks ago, but she's still over there. So I thought, okay, then it could be the environment she's not happy with. So I thought, well, let's change it, shall we? And that's what we've done today. Hopefully now she will be a different spider and enjoy this beautiful enclosure she's got. Right, before we leave the video, let's thank a few people. First of all, I'd like to thank Andy from So Many Legs and Mark the Spider Guy and Steve Thornton for their help and information on my spider today. Great help, guys. Thank you for all the sort of advice and sort of ideas. But ultimately, I think this was the only way forward, to be honest. And already, she seems completely different. I said before, when I got her, she goes straight home the corner and up there. But now she's probably thinking, this feels different, but the same. Yeah, so thank you guys. A few YouTubers I'd like to thank, obviously, Mark the Spider Guy. I'd like to thank Peter Webster, Spider Mum 1978, RS Designs, Unseen Universe, Reptile Renovations, Incredible Inverts and Other Animals, Tea in the Deep Blue Sea, Unusual Pets, Tarantula-tastic Enclosures, Dave's Little Beasties, Annie Arachnids, Robbie Talking Teas. The list is endless, guys. Please check all these great channels out for all your spider content and invert content. Yeah, that's good to see her. Look at that. That's lovely. Look, I wonder if she's going to find that water bowl. But like I was saying, she molted out and she does look in prime condition, doesn't she? She does look really, really good. So what we'll do, guys, we'll leave her. I'm going to let her settle in for a couple of days before I put food in. Just because I know she's already molted out, etc., etc., but the environment's changed. And she's had a big day today, isn't it? It's been a big adventure for her. Although she hasn't gone very far, but to her it's a big adventure. And let's hope her adventure continues. And now it continues, not just in this corner over here. So let's leave her to it, and I'll leave you guys to it. Thanks so much for watching. Please look after yourselves, and I really hope I see you all soon.